Well, good morning to you all. It's Jeremiah Poop, your friendly Boston tour guide at your service as always. Somebody asked me what is the weirdest experience I've ever had in my 22 years as a tour guide on the Freedom Trail. Well, aside from having shit thrown at me in an alley when I'm doing a ghost tour, probably about 3 summers ago, it was July of 2022, I believe. I was doing a Freedom Trail tour and I was excited because a couple of my friends were coming. I had a woman who I've been friends with since college coming who she has a disability, so she's in a wheelchair, but the Freedom Trail is fully accessible, so that was no problem. And I also had a friend of mine coming with his wife and their 16-year-old daughter and their 13-year-old son, Ethan, and I hadn't seen them in a few years, so I was like surprised at how much the kids had grown and stuff, but it was good to see them. And this was a sweltering hot day. It was almost 100 degrees, and before the tour, Ethan actually took his shirt off, and his mother was like, "Put your shirt back on, Ethan, you're not at the beach." And he's like, "But it's so hot." And she's like, "I don't care, you're not going on the tour shirtless." She's like, "Look at Jeremiah, he's wearing wool." She's like, "If he can do that, you can certainly manage." And he looked at me, he's like, "Jeremiah, do you mind if I keep my shirt off during the tour?" And I'm like, "I don't really care, Ethan, but I'm not getting involved in this. You need to do what your mother says." So he put his shirt on, and meanwhile, my friend in the wheelchair was like, "Oh my God, Ethan got jacked." And his mom's like, "Yeah, well, he and his friends all look like that now. They're always working out." And my friend in the wheelchair is like, "Do they work out or are they on steroids?" She's like, he's huge. He's just ripped." And she's like, "Well, we live in the age of the jacked middle school boy. What can I say?" So we do the tour, and I don't really think about it again. And then at the end of the tour, a lot of times people want to get a picture with me. But to my surprise, these older French women came over and they're like, "Can we get a picture?" I'm like, "Sure." And like, "Oh, not you." They're like, "We want a picture with the boy." And my friend's wife was like, "You want a picture with our son?" She's like, "Why?" And they're like, "Well, we were in New York City earlier and we wanted a picture with the naked cowboy, but we couldn't find him. And your son is so all American. We're from Europe where all the guys are sort of hasty and twig-like." And she's like, one of the old French women was like, "He's kind of the perfect example of hardy American manhood." And my friend's like, "Manhood? He's 13. And like, if he could just take his shirt off and flex his chest and like put the cowboy hat on for a picture with us, we'd be really grateful." And my friend's wife was like, "No, absolutely not." And my friend was like, they looked to my friend, and my friend's like, "No, I'm sorry, he's 13. That's just not appropriate." And one of the French women said, "We'll pay you $100 for a picture with your son." Which point my friend said, "Ethan, take your shirt off. You're doing a picture with these nice ladies." And his wife looked horrified, but Ethan complied. He took his shirt off and he put the cowboy hat that these French women had with them on, and he like flexed his pecs for the picture and all that. And sure enough, they gave him an $100 bill. And then right afterwards, these Japanese girls who were on my tour, they seemed to be about college age, came over and they too wanted a picture with Ethan. So they got one, but they wanted me in the picture too. And I said, "Okay." And then they hand me a Pikachu mask, and they're like, "Can you put this Pikachu mask on for the picture?" And I'm like, "Why?" And like, "It will make the picture funny." And they said, "You'll look better with the mask on." And I said, "Well, thanks, but I guess you don't want a photo with a Peter Pettigrew lookalike then." So I put the Pikachu mask on, and they wanted me to also have my tricorn hat on. Now you try putting a tricorn hat over the Pikachu thing with the ears. It can be done, I discovered, but not easily. And they also wanted my friend in the wheelchair in the picture, and she's like, "Why?" And one of the girls said, "I want to pretend that I'm pushing you in the picture. It'll look fun." And my friend in the wheelchair's like, "All right." And she's like, "Do we all get $100?" Well, we didn't, as it turned out. But somewhere out there now, there is a photo of my friend's 13-year-old son, flexing his pecs shirtless with a cowboy hat while these Japanese student girls are doing the peace sign. And I'm wearing a Pikachu mask with my colonial costume, where one of them pretends to be pushing my friend in a wheelchair. And if any of you Japanese girls are watching, I would really love it if you could DM me that picture, because I would really love to have that picture for social media. So that was probably the single most surreal experience I've had in 22 years as a Freedom Trail guide.